had no language, he had no social skills.
He'd put his hands over his ears and run out of the room.
If things were not good and he was unhappy, he could whine, escalating to a tantrum.
He had meltdowns, he fell apart.
His fits used to be, they'd run 10 to 15 minutes a time, and maybe 2 or 3 times a day sometimes.
A child with behavioral issues can be an ongoing crisis for a family. That's where behavioral services at North Los Angeles County Regional Center can assist.
Oh, you're better now?
The Behavioral Services Program at North Los Angeles County Regional Center is a partnership between you and a professional. Our goal is to help you help your child eliminate undesirable behaviors and learn the new behaviors he or she needs to get along in the world. We help you identify why negative behaviors occur and determine how best to change them. And we work specifically with your family's needs to find an individualized and positive approach that will work for you.
Behavioral services really are good teaching techniques. There's really nothing mystical about them. What we've learned in the last 40 or 50 years is really effective ways of being good teachers.
Behavioral services are founded on the principle that new skills will be effective, socially acceptable, and will eliminate the need for undesirable behavior. Our professional services based on the science of behavior analysis and predicated on specific things that you must do in order to be successful are designed to achieve IPP goals and objectives, are assessed by collecting data to show us how well the program is working. Behavioral services are not crisis intervention, respite, daycare, a quick fix, a replacement for school.
The behavioral services that we offer here focus on what we call teach the teacher model.
We have a dual purpose. We want to teach the skills that children need, but we also want to teach parents the skills they need to continue the teaching on after we're gone.
Making a story together.
The Behavioral Services Program supports your family in 3 important ways. It helps you deal with the behaviors that are currently causing difficulties. It teaches new socially desirable behavior, and it gives you the skills to deal with behaviors that may develop in the future. At North Los Angeles County Regional Center, Behavioral Services has 3 components: parent education groups, in-home parent education services, intensive applied behavior analysis for early intervention for autism.
Welcome everyone to ABC's Positive Programming for Parents.
A key part of our Behavioral Services program is a class in behavior analysis, where you learn about the principles of learning and behavior and how to apply them. The class also gives you the opportunity to discuss your experiences with other parents and with the instructor.
What you can expect to happen is that you will go to a parent education group and you'll meet other very delightful parents that are just as puzzled as you. And as a group, you'll learn about principles. You'll probably have some aha experiences that, my gosh, I had no idea I was reinforcing whatever that behavior was.
The groups meet over several sessions for a total of 16 hours of instruction. You learn how behaviors are formed in the first place, what functions the behaviors serve for the consumer, how people's reactions to the consumer's behaviors can make the behaviors more likely to occur again in the future, how to assess what changes need to be made.
I went through a 16-hour orientation, and I learned a lot of behavioral interventions and a lot of background information.
What other therapy approaches they're using to kind of help the kids, how they work with you in your home, how you can kind of transfer the services after the behaviorists leave, work with your child yourself. So it was very valuable time for me.
The second service that we provide is in-home parent education, and it's built on the principles that parents learn in the group, but now the agency and the professionals will go out to the home and work with the parents and show the parents how to use these principles and how to look at a problem in a very systematic sort of a way and design ways to change that behavior in a desirable direction.
A behavior analyst consultant conducts a full assessment of your family, including a structured interview with you as well as an in-home observation. You and the behavior analyst consultant then work together to develop ways to change your child's behaviors.
They did an assessment, and then a treatment team of about two to four therapists came and introduced themselves and spent some time with my son, and it began. They came for 2 to 3 hours at a time during the course of the day, just small increments of time at first to help him transition into longer periods of time.
You learn how to observe and keep track of your child's behavior by collecting data and recording information about his or her behavior. This helps you identify target behaviors that you want to change or develop.
The reason is so that you can kind of see the forest and not just see the individual trees. You can look at how behaviors change and grow and are shaped over time, and it's kind of how you prove it's working. It's how you know it's working.
And it's hard to always remember everything, so I write everything down, I keep calendars, and how are things working today, what worked, what didn't.
And it's not that big a deal, it really isn't. You have a checklist that you carry in your back pocket with a pencil, and you check off. Typically there's correct response, incorrect response, and no response.
The true expert with your child is clearly you. And so we really need your expertise to define clearly what it is we're going to be working on. And by virtue of that, by that real clear definition, we should be able to count or in some way keep track of those goals and objectives that you've defined.
It could be as simple as putting a sheet on the refrigerator and making a hash mark every time a child has a tantrum.
And if our data collection or tracking is really good, it will give us the information we need to revise teaching plans, to design new teaching goals. It is a wealth of information that we get from data. And so it's imperative, and it is one of the biggest responsibilities that you as a parent have, is tracking those behaviors and collecting that data.
And I have soup all over my new jeans. Big deal or little deal?
Children with autism are trying their best to adapt to an environment they don't understand. Their world is different. Their reactions may be inappropriate or unusual. So it's very important to teach the child to use socially acceptable ways to meet his or her needs. Many children can improve with intensive early intervention using highly structured teaching strategies. So it's crucial to start interventions as early as possible and individualize the services to the child. At North Los Angeles County Regional Center, you learn about the principles of applied behavior analysis, the discrete trial format, and different types of teaching, including planned, naturalistic, and incidental teaching strategies.
The third service that we provide is intensive ABA with little guys with autism. Those services are really designed to, as much as possible, catch children up to similar age peers and typically developing peers. And we do that by teaching very fundamental learning skills. We're essentially teaching the child how to learn. And in so doing, we're teaching them how to make basic discriminations, how to imitate, how to attend. Very, very basic things along that line that we can't assume a child with autism has, and most often they don't.
How many minutes?
Applied behavior analysis, or ABA, is the most accepted and respected psychological and educational treatment for children with autism. In ABA, the first thing a child learns is how to learn. Applied behavior analysis uses learning principles to shape responses and decrease problem behaviors. It focuses on how behaviors and skills are learned in the first place, what purpose they serve for the child, and how people's reactions to the child's behaviors can make the behaviors more or less likely to occur again in the future.
ABA is not used for babysitting or respite, and it's certainly not used for emergencies. It's not a crisis intervention. It's a very systematic teaching procedure, actually a series of procedures.
As far as I know, applied behavior analysis is the only professional service available that has a body of research behind it that has been shown through rigorous empirical methods to be effective.
A lot of parents who are thinking about ABA have this concern that, they're going to brainwash my kid, he's going to be robotic, it's like puppy training or dog training, they call it tricks for treats, because it is, especially in the early going, very much based on discrete trial. Each attempt has a beginning and an end and a reinforcer. Nothing could be further from the truth. It makes the kid a lot less robotic. It makes the kid a lot better able to develop and express his or her personality and be part of the world and be a human being.
Successful behavior management requires time and commitment, and the follow-through to apply the skills you've learned at home. The parents, caregiver, or family must be part of this process. For any behavioral strategy to work, everyone must agree on the objectives and goals to be taught and consistently follow through with the plan.
It's a commitment. It's 2.5 years or so of life in a fishbowl. There's going to be people coming and going in your home to really assure that progress is being made.
A parent would be expected, first of all, to be present in the home.
This is a very demanding type of treatment.
I have to be engaged. It's so important. He's my child. He is with me 24/7, and parents need to be involved. This is a huge commitment, and I was blessed with a child with autism, and this is what I need to do for him. In order for my son to be successful, I have to be an engaged and involved parent.
It requires people to stay the course and to renew their commitment to this, sometimes on a daily basis, maybe an hourly basis, that they've got to follow through.
You can't put your kid on hold in between treatment sessions. You really have to be able to follow through and continue reinforcing the skills that the child has learned and requiring the child to apply those skills in the outside world.
You have to be extremely involved in creating the program, writing the goals. You really need to know what are your priorities for your child to learn and make sure that those get worked into the program, through your involvement in the team meetings and in the actual therapy sessions.
First of all, it's a big lifestyle commitment. It's not a babysitting service. It's not like you can say, hey, great, you're here to fix it, I'm out. Somebody, whether it be the parent or a caregiver or somebody, has to be in the house in charge, supervising and responsible for the child at all times.
But then the important thing is that after the people leave, that you're still continuing with that type of therapy approach. It's not just, a few hours during the day and they leave and you can just, do whatever it is that you're going to do all the rest of the day. You really have to continue to implement all of the therapeutic approaches that they're doing with your child. You have to continue to implement them throughout the day and in all the different settings that the child is in.
And it's important to share the responsibility. If your family is a two-parent family, both parents should participate. For single parents, a relative or a friend may help out. It's critical that all adults having significant contact with a child consistently apply the same behavior management techniques.
everyone has to get involved in it, because we found at the start it would take, whatever work we'd done during the week would tend to be undone over the weekend.
It's a really important part of learning and growing, but learning and growing has to happen 24 hours a day, and that's why the family, you know, the older siblings, if they're there, the grandparents, if they're in the home, have to be part of the treatment team and have to be very, very in touch with what the kid is learning.
If you want to take advantage of behavioral services at North Los Angeles County Regional Center, you must be willing to commit to the time necessary. Be present for and actively participate in all the therapy sessions. Follow through with the lessons when the therapist is not there. Keep track of your child's progress. Have all members of the family reinforce the learning.
What color is Mommy's car? Black. How do you know?
At first, I was nervous. These are strangers coming in. Oh, did I have to have the house completely organized and clean? You know, what if there was laundry laying around? What would they think of me?
They're not there to judge you in any way or to change your family dynamic. They should be there just to help and support the goals that you have, you know, for your child.
I suppose the biggest reservations were just having to deal with all these people and coming in and out of your house and all the different meetings and in and out of your life. But then that all went away very quickly once the process started, because he just made exceptional progress. And it was great for us too. It was as much therapy for us as it was him as it got going, because we saw the difference it made.
First it was a little scary, you know, because it's somebody that's not known, but after you get to know these people, they're very good people. So, and they're only there to help.
And he bonded immediately, and he thinks they're his friends, and it's great.
Applied behavior analysis services really work.
It helped me be a more consistent, structured parent. I learned how to do behavioral interventions. It's stressful to have a child with special needs. I learned how to handle my own stress as I relate to him, and to take time out for myself and the breathing techniques and whatever I needed to do to help him.
It's a major commitment, but it's your child. It's their future, it's their progress. You know, I think every parent wants to see their child, you know, really maximize their potential and make progress towards those goals and that they have. And yeah, it's worth it. You know, it's worth every ounce of energy that you put into it, because your kid can make so much progress.
It's a commitment that you will treasure for the rest of your life and for your child's life.
Never give up, and throw as much as you possibly can at them, as much as you possibly can, and take real advantage of it. It's even for if you've got other kids in the house, just the things that you're taught in the parent training sessions of behavioural services relate to everything.
It's definitely a marathon. You know, it's not a sprint. You know, it's going to take some consistent effort, but it's totally worth it. You know, just to watch your children get better in so many different areas.
He has friendships, and I just get teary-eyed.
We've just seen him grow just leaps and bounds. I mean, it's been nothing but positive.